for those of you who don't know, I'm Mainframe. I'm that weird lion dude online who makes the music with the dad jokes that are not the best, but that's what makes them the best. Right? Anyway, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone out there and stay awesome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of Being Vulnerable. It's our holiday special. We got a bunch of stuff in store for you today. Special guests, a lot of just celebration of this past year on Threads and with Threads musicians, and just a celebration of our community all coming together, and also a little celebration of being vulnerable and how um, all of these special guests that I have for you have came in and helped build me to where I am right now. And yeah, and my co-host for this evening is another special guest. Is Paula. Um, I'll have her introduce herself, but just to say I am Carpal Tonal and or Chris, whatever you want to call me. Today I'm Carpal Elf. So yeah, the elf on the shelf.
I'm Paula or Scarlet to Lyra, whichever way. I don't care. Hi, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and Paula did the artwork for our show, and so give her a round of applause. Yeah, she has been a part of the show since the beginning and has like been almost at every single being vulnerable when she could. So she's the heart of this show.
Even when I wasn't there, I was listening in the car. Watch me go.
So as a holiday special, we're not going to get too deeply emotional unless we get there. We're going to try to keep it a little more lighthearted. And so what do you have planned for the holidays?
This is very different. Tonight I've got, because it's Christmas Eve for me, so I'm working, and then once I finish work, I'm going to celebrate with my family. But my ex-husband, my brother-in-law, and my mother-in-law, who I haven't seen since I left my ex. So that's going to be interesting. We'll all be there because they don't have any other family. They've always just been brought into that celebration. So that's cool. So yeah, got that tonight, and I'll see my girls then. But tomorrow night, I've got my girls for the night, which is great. And I don't have anything else planned for Christmas Day. And I'm not sad about that. It means that I don't have to have stinking hot meals on a really hot summer's day. It's fantastic. I'm just going to chill and do whatever I want. It's going to be great.
So
I'm
you
excited.
that's good. I'm glad you're excited. Excited for you.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, y'all are y'all doing that? Just, keeping it cordial for the girls? Like, having
No, it's something that we've always done because there's so many family groups within our family because of like split relationships and stuff like that. It's just been easier to all gather at the one place so that you're not traveling all day. And so that's just become the norm now. And so they still get invited, and that's not a problem. Like I get along quite well with Craig, that's my ex, and Harry, that's my brother-in-law. Um, so it shouldn't be a problem. We'll all just chill. Be great.
I mean that's great. I know it's not like that in a lot of other families. It's the minute breakups happen and there's two Christmases and
My
um
family is by no means normal at all. Just not. There's lots going on there. But yeah, it's we've always been a family that if there's been someone that had no one else at Christmas time to celebrate with or um, things like that, we'll bring them into our family group so they're not alone, that they don't have to spend Christmas by themselves. It's just been the done thing. So that then continues bringing them into the family group, even though they're not technically family anymore, so that they're not alone, because it's just the three of them, other than my girls, and they would be celebrating by themselves. So, yeah, bring them into the bigger, crazier group, so that it's a bit more fun for them.
Yeah, I was a little fortunate that, my parents are still together, so I never had to have the two Christmases, but my brothers all did because both my parents came from they both got divorced and had kids, and then they met each other and had me, so I was their only child, but I always had to see my brothers do that. I mean, there was some times where it was like one of my brothers had to go and spend Christmas Eve with or he would spend Christmas Eve with us and then go spend Christmas with his father, and then with my other brothers it would be more like because they lived close, their mom lived closer to our house, and they would come do the first Christmas with us, and then I would actually go with them to their mom's house and then do the whole second Christmas. And um, yes, so I know not personally I could understand that, but I know I've witnessed it with my brothers and how it hurt them to have to choose how much time to spend with what parent. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've never really chosen. I've just sort of gone with the flow. You just go, right, well, this is, what's going on here. And there's always been sort of that one parent, normally, normally my adopted mum, because we'll get to that in a minute, who goes, yeah, that's cool, work around your adopted dad. We'll go with Debbie and Ross. That might be easier. And so we've sort of done that. But tomorrow being Christmas Day, I might just duck down the road and see Fiona, who's my biological mum, and her partner Tim for a few minutes, because they're not really celebrating anything either. So I'll just duck in there and stir a bit of crazy up and then leave, I think, as you do.
Yeah, for us, my brothers are coming down. They're driving like, because we live like a good 2 hours away from them, so they're driving down. So I haven't seen them in over a year. So we'll see how that goes. Um, yeah,
That's a while.
yeah. I also get to see my nieces and nephews for first time in probably like 2 years, and I know they have. Like I remember them. I remember being there. When they were born, and now one of them just turned 20, and then the girl is she's graduating high school this year, which is just crazy. And then the littler one, she's just like a year younger. So like they're all over 16 now. And
Yeah, they don't seem to stay little for long. They just go, yeah, and grow.
yeah, and I don't know, like it's hard to have conversations with them to see if they remember like all the times that, because I mean there was times where I would babysit them. There was times where they were really little though, and I since I was the youngest of the brothers, I would connect with them a little more than the older brothers. So I would still be like the little kid with them, even though I was like I think I was like 14 when Jason was born. But yeah, like so I got to be like the uncle who was a friend more than an authority figure.
That's like me with my girls. I'm like the mum who's not the mum. Actually, I'm pretty sure that my youngest daughter tends to be a bit more mature than I am most of the time. It's great. I'm constantly getting told off. We go to like a department store. I'm going to use your terminology because that works for me. And we'll get to the toy aisle or something, and I'll be like, ooh. And Shelby will literally be pushing me. No, mum, no. And I'm like, but I've got to press the buttons. No, mum, no. And I'm like, but there's a toy back there that I want. No, we're going around this way. We don't have time for this. I'm being told off by a 10-year-old. This is fantastic. It's not fun. I want to do this stuff. She won't let me.
I mean, yeah, that was the thing is it got to a point though when they'd act up, and I wouldn't be able to like I didn't have the authority to discipline them because I was treating them as like equals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I get that. But I said to Shelby, and not that you've only got to threaten. That's all you've got to do. You don't have to use it or implement. But I said, you'll never guess what I unpacked today. She's like, what's that? And I said, my shelter. And she looked at me. It's a wooden spoon. It's as simple as that. And, and he hit that on the bench and she's like, shit, I'm in trouble. But yes. But most of the time I'm pretty chill until they annoy me. And then it's just like, get that spoon out. And I'm like, okay, it's serious time now. Yes, it is.
I mentioned the wooden spoon to a lot of people because that was my mom's discipline thing that she got from her mom from Scotland. But that's not a lot of Americans don't they either go to belt or the what it's like a stick you break off a bush and you whip with it.
What's it called? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that those are the things that most like so whenever I would say like yeah, she'd pull out the wooden spoon, they'd be like they wouldn't know what that was like. I and it might be more gentle than a whipping device. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got threatened as a kid. I was evil. I was such an evil child. But I got threatened with the belt, with the kettle cord. I'm pretty sure I've been whopped with a spoon. Because I would just break stuff. Like I obviously didn't mean to break stuff. It just happened. And as a younger child, and I don't remember doing this. This is how young I was. I would never take responsibility for it. It wasn't me. It was my hands. And this is my excuse that I used to palm off to them all the time. And I've just found out, like, that's obviously a genetic trait because Shelby's the same. Shelby breaks everything as well. And I'm like, now I understand why my parents wanted to whack me with all of these things. It's like so frustrating.
It was later on in middle school and they found out all of the stuff that I was doing that was because I had a lot of the same destructive behaviors. It was my ADD, like drawing on the walls with freaking marker, permanent marker, trying to do stuff like that. I mean, that was the first time I got the spoon. But my parents didn't know. I wasn't diagnosed that young and stuff. And yeah, and
Yeah.
like times where I'd be all excited and I'd do something and I'd knock the lamp off or something, break something that was like so a lot of times too, I would just hurt myself. I would do things that would hurt myself, and I was always in and out of the hospital as an elementary school kid because I just kept doing things like I opened my chin up twice. The first one was not really ADD. It was just I tried to pull myself off of getting out of a pool, and my hand slipped, and then I hit my chin, cracked myself open. That was my first concussion too, that we know of. Yeah, I like walked up to the lifeguard, and I was like, I can't find my brother, and I'm like bleeding all over myself, but I couldn't tell because it just felt like water,
Yeah.
and I got like
No,
horrified.
yeah. Shelby's been diagnosed. She has ADHD inattentive. Both Craig and I were never diagnosed, but we definitely were. And the same with you. I was always hurting myself. Mum and dad, adoptive parents, used to own a shop, and we lived in a house, but there was a car park, this gravel car park in between. And my sister and I used to spend a lot of time together. And she's like, do you want to toast marshmallows? I'm like, yeah, let's toast marshmallows. I'm like 6. Okay, this is really bad. She's 4 years older than me, so she's 10, being the responsible adult, but it's all good. And she's like, we need matches. We haven't got any matches. And so I'm running and I'm like, because I'm pretending that I'm like some super fast superhero. It's all good. And the front room was really, really dark and had a sliding glass door. And I just plowed straight through it.
Oh, yeah.
Bam. So I got halfway across the car park before it sort of hit me that I've just ran through a sliding glass door and have smashed both panels and get into the shop, and I'm bleeding from the knees and everywhere. And it's like, what? I'm like, we need matches. We need toasted marshmallows, you know. It was all bad. But things like that used to happen to me all the time. I'd just do really, really stupid things like that just from the excitement of yeah, let's go and do this, you know. So, yeah,
Uh,
and I find a lot of that in Shelby. So yeah.
yeah, the amount of concussions I had before I hit, I don't know, third grade, it's pretty remarkable. Um, I mean, this was like when I was elementary school. I was like playing hide and go seek with my brother at my other brother's football game. We were like running under the bleachers, and I like lifted my head up and got a spike to the top of my head. Um, Probably another concussion, but I like come up to my parents and I'm like, I can't. I said the same thing. I was like, I can't find Adam, but this different brother this time. I can't find my brother, and they just see me like pouring blood out of the top of my head. I was like, and like they had a lot going on that night, so they ended up putting band-aids on my head and then taking me to the hospital the next morning. But yeah, that like you could actually see my skull. That's how deep it penetrated.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, that just
Just
those
put a
little.
band-aid on it. It'll fix it. It'll keep your brains in. It's okay.
And what hurt the most was them taking the band-aids out of my. So it hurt.
Ugh.
They end up
Ripping
having
on your head.
they end up having to shave me bald, which now I do remember. It was in the first grade because I had to be bald for the first grade. And I mean, I was already a nerdy kid, but me going bald because my head is just not shaped to be bald. That like I got picked on a lot for being bald. I actually had to go bald twice, actually. One time I was another ADD thing. This is when I was a little younger though. I was like 4. I took scissors and just started cutting my hair to give myself a haircut. And I had all these patches and the only way to fix it is if I had to go bald. But at least I wasn't in
Shelby
school at that time.
Shelby was a real bugger for that. She would like just cut chunks of hair. And she was such an angel at school that no one could believe that she did all of these things. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it is not S for Shelby, it is S for Satan. You've got no idea what this child is like. And they're like, not possible, not possible. And I picked him up from school one day and I hear this, Paula, and I'm like, turn around, and it's one of the teachers running to me. And she's got this piece of paper that's folded in half. And she's like, I am so, so sorry. I didn't realise. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, what? She opened up the paper and there's a chunk of Shelby's hair sitting in there. All I could do was laugh. And I'm like, oh, so she's finally done it at school, has she? She's like, she does this at home? I'm like, all the time. I said, it's about time she did it at school. I said, it's okay. Don't stress. I'll fix it. But like, she was, the poor old teacher was absolutely mortified. And I'm like, meh, just another Shelby thing. It's okay.
I scared my third grade teacher once to it. It was they were reading us the Harry Potter book, the first Harry Potter book, and for some reason there was a stapler close to me, and I was just like, I put my hand in it and just stapled myself. And I ended up missing like a good big portion of the Harry Potter book because they had in the middle of a reading, all of a sudden you hear a scream and then there's just blood everywhere and like, yeah, that,
Like, did you ever like pins through the top of your fingers? Or
well,
is that just like an
I,
Australian kid thing?
I did it through my
Like through the, no,
fingernail.
through the skin. Through the skin in the
Oh,
end. Didn't you like pin through there?
no, I mean, no, like people do that here because you're using the dead skin, but I did it through my fingernail. So I put a staple literally through, yeah,
Through your finger.
that's all I was saying. I had to get rushed out of the hospital so many times as a kid. One other one, another. Sorry, all of these are so graphic. I got home and no one was there, and I was all hungry, and I was like, oh. And I saw my mom just had her new salsa maker, and I was like, I'm gonna make me some salsa. I don't know if you've seen those salsa makers where you you like it has like a blade and you're like slicing tomatoes and
Yeah.
stuff to do it. went to go slice something and sliced off a big chunk of my thumb into the salsa. So I ruined the salsa for one thing, but also no one was gonna get home for like another hour, and it was again blood everywhere.
But
Like
everywhere.
every single time this happens to me, there's blood everywhere. But
Bad.
I
Yeah, yeah, no.
like every single time one of those things happened, I did learn my lesson from the pain, but I would always injure myself in a completely different way. So like now I knew never to like I'm the person who will cut, vegetables and stuff like my hand way. It takes me so long. I'm not a fast cutter because I learned my cutting skills may not be that trustworthy. Also, coming out of a pool.
I don't. I don't learn. Right, you go.
I was just saying, also coming out of a pool, I will never try to pull myself up from the side again like that. Yeah. I'll just use ladders
No,
or
see, I'm one of those people who don't learn from their mistakes, especially like working in hospitality. It's like you don't have time to learn. You just, if it's hot and you burn yourself, it's like shit. And you go and do it again. Like we used to have Bain Marie's that had lights up in the top of them. And the amount of burn marks up my arm from that, from where you're throwing things in the Bain Marie and you misjudge, because I'm really good at misjudging, end up with burn marks. Or you go to the oven, which is then you've got burn marks there for the same reason, because you don't get, or you're not wearing the oven mitts and you're just using a tea towel because it won't be that hot. I'm sure it won't be that hot. And it is really that hot, but now you've got it out of the oven. You've got to continue to carry it to where it needs to go. And so you end up with burnt hands. I've chopped my fingers quite a few times, hung over really badly once, and I was making sandwiches. I was doing sandwiches today. And I was cutting an avocado open, same as I normally do. And then I went to get the pip out, the same as I normally do, and big chef's knife, and I went bang. And instead of cutting the pip out, I actually cut my thumb. And I was like, because I was hungover, blood normally isn't an issue for me, but because I'm hungover, I'm going, oh, that's not great. And the girl I was working with, I'm like, hey, Maz. And she's like, hang on a second. I'm like, nah, Maz, I think you really kind of need to come here because I'm still not looking at this because this is making me feel faint. And she's like, oh my God, what have you done? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to look. Just fix me up. We haven't got time for this. Just put a Band-Aid on it. I've got to keep working. But yeah, and you do that. And where I've still got the mark there, and where it's healed, it's actually pulled a nerve up to the top of the surface with it. So if you hit it on the same angle, like, which I do quite regularly because I'm like that, it hurts lots. But and I still don't learn because I still hit the same place.
I mean, it was more of like, yeah. I guess my learning comes from just the aspect of learning that way as a child of like, you do something wrong, you get pain, and then you have to learn from it. Um, being a cook though, I worked at KFC for like a good year, and at first, burns all across me and stuff, but my hands just got natural like oil always on my hands, so it kind of protected me from getting all those burns after a while. And then I got a little too cocky with the way I was doing stuff, and I was taking some grilled chicken out of the oven, and I had I had a grease burn that poured on my chest and burnt through my shirt, and like literally I have like a Punisher skull imprinted because it like made the perfect skull shape. But
You're right.
it actually sent me into shock because of how deep a burn that was. And like, yeah, they actually had to call the ambulance because I went into shock and I kind of lost consciousness in a way. Um, and yeah, that was like the first time I had actually might have been, oh no, Well, I guess the other shock things I would have would be more concussion based, but this was like the first time I had like shock from like it, yeah,
Yeah.
like straight pain. Because really, I didn't feel it because of the shock. It was after that I had to deal with it for like the longest time.
Yeah. See, I don't learn from physical pain. Probably do so much more from emotional pain. Then again, it does take me a few times to get that right too. But yeah,
I should
it's a
learn.
thing.
I should learn from emotional pain more. That's one thing I don't learn from. Like, I'll put a guard up, but I still don't learn. Even like just with anything, with family, with friends. Once I let my guard down, then I start making the same mistakes that I did in my past. Um, that yeah, from
See, I'm a bit different to that. I'm probably the opposite. Um, I walk into things totally open-minded, regardless of the situation. And then if things start going weird, that's when I'll put my guard up. And it's like, probably should start with that instead of the other way because it would save so much many dramas, with all different things. But I don't because I'm just I'm me, you know. I'm I don't judge people until they give me a reason to judge them. So, and I probably end up getting more hurt from that than I would if I did put my guard up to begin with.
yeah. I guess the guard up is the one thing I kind of learned from emotional stuff, but I still don't learn to like who I should let my guard down or not. Or like in certain situations, I'll be all excited and talking. I want to say something, and then I'll say something I didn't mean, but it's just the way it came out. Um, and this is something I should have learned because it keeps happening. It always happens. But that is one thing. Like, yeah, I mean, just the other day, I got all excited to go tell my dad something, and I stood up and fell, passed out in front of all of them. But it was I got too excited and stood up from a straight up, and I was like,
Uh,
even though I have learned that I can't get up like that. I have to get up slowly. Um, but I got excited and completely forgot, and yeah, scared the shit out of them though.
well, they were paying attention then after that, obviously. Did you manage to tell him that that was what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, this is what I've been telling you guys for so long that I get these episodes. They just have never seen it in that way. There's only been like twice that I've actually completely lost consciousness and fell. Um, yeah, well, this would have been the third time, but usually it's just I have to like sit myself down and like regain. Laying back down helps a lot too. Yeah, because it's like you lose every sense. The only thing that's still kind of there is your consciousness, and that's how it's been. But sometimes, like just these last couple times, or that time and two times before, I actually lost the consciousness part of it. But I was just like, it was only for like a second, and I was able to get back up. I also want to special thank Jordan. Um, we got a little message that he sent in for everybody, but just my message to Jordan is our conversation had meant so much. Like this, even our friendship, the fact that we've been able to connect and just support one another outside of just being vulnerable in threads and just you helping me through some of my mental stuff. It's a blessing to have you in this community and in my life for real. And here's a word from Jordan.
Hey, my friends, Jordan Coley here, just wishing you a very Merry Christmas and safe and joyful holiday season. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Chris and also the rest of the Threads community for making this year one of the absolute best I've ever had in the many years that I've been doing music. You've been encouraging and inspiring and also absolutely hilarious, and I've been so grateful to get to be a part of this wonderful community with all of you. I just wanted to wish you a blessed time, however you choose to celebrate this season, and a cheers to an amazing new year incoming. Love y'all and talk soon. See ya.
Oh shit.
Told you I'd wear
It's-
some Christmas stuff for you.
Yeah.
Oh, here I am sitting like in my t-shirt because it's too fucking hot, but you know.
It's like 36 here, so it's gross because it's raining.
Damn. Everyone, we got a special guest that just dropped in.
Hey
Spectre Fallen.
everybody, it's me.
I just want to thank you for being on my show. You were my second guest, and it was it really connected you and solidified like that I could find friends here in Threads, and like I do truly appreciate you for being there.
It was
Especially
a pleasure, my bro. I made like a really good friend through all of it, so win-win all around. And now we play Fortnite together, and it's awesome.
what was your experience with being vulnerable?
I was a little nervous at first because I didn't know really what to expect, but like, I don't know, you make it very easy to just like have a conversation with you. So afterwards, I don't know, I felt like the world got to know me a little better, and that made me feel a little better about myself, I guess.
And how was your year in Threads? Like
Oh,
what do you want to communicate to people about your year in Threads and just
this time last year, I had like no traction, no one really listened to my music, didn't have many like friends anywhere on any social medias, and I started getting into Threads, and now like at this moment I have like over 160,000 streams in the last 12 months. And like I found friends, I found like an entire community, like so many people I'm collaborating with, like it's breathed like more life into my creativity. It's just amazing. Threads is like life-changing, bro.
Your growth from the beginning of the year as an artist through to now has been fucking phenomenal. Like
I appreciate that.
have just gone and it's just next fucking level. It's really amazing. Like huge.
yeah, like we really met in like I think it was like September. So I didn't get to see the beginning of your journey, but I got to see it right as it started, and like that's I was yeah. I
I
got to
was
see it.
not as
Yeah.
confident, I'll tell you that, about this time last year. But you gotta pick yourself up and keep putting yourself out there, because obviously there was someone out there that wanted to listen. And I'm very happy I found them.
Some
Yeah.
little random chick that lives in Tasmania, you know. No.
Works for me.
I want to thank Daniel Necklace for Breakfast for all he has done for me, done for the community, done for all of us. He has been such a staple in my career, especially going forward. He's working on some big things, and he's bringing me into some of it. And he couldn't be here, busy man. So, but I still wanted to acknowledge Daniel for everything that he has done for all of us, and especially for me.
I'm kind of glad that he wasn't here, like not in a bad way, but had he have been here, that's when the tissues would have need to have been brought out. I'm absolutely 100% certain of that.
Why is that?
We just have this very special friendship bond, him and I. So yeah, that would have been, I would have been all live. But yeah, it's all good.
Brenna,
Hey.
everyone, got another special
Oh.
guest that just popped in. We got Brenna.
I'm not dressed up for Christmas. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was not prepared.
You're
I'm
wearing
wearing
red.
red, if that
There you
counts.
go.
That counts,
Yeah,
that counts.
you're good.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Busy, tired.
Well, thank you for joining in with us today for this special little episode. And I also want to say I really appreciate you for being on Being Vulnerable and helping me start this this season with it means the world that you were willing to give me your time to be on my show.
Of course. I had a blast.
Yeah. So you just how else was it for you being vulnerable?
It was really different than my usual like interview kind of talks, and it was kind of nice to just like sit here and chat without any like focus on one particular thing.
Hopefully this doesn't feel like an interview.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just like, oh yeah, let's hang out and talk.
Yeah. How was your year on Threads?
My year on Threads has been like, I feel like a mess where it's been all over the place with all the political stuff going on, and then just trying to keep up with posting stuff for my music. It's been exhausting, but it's been awesome to find so many people and meet so many people, because I started on Threads, I think last year at some point. And yeah, it's been going. It's never ending.
I'm glad you stuck around. I know a lot of people left Threads from the beginning.
Yeah.
I started late. I started in July. Didn't really get going.
Yeah,
until
well, look at you
September.
go. Like, damn, it hasn't even been that long for you, and you're already met so many people. Like, that's so awesome.
I owe it to all you guys, the kind souls on Threads.
Same here, bro.
My Christmas wish is to get Tiny Dancer happening. It's been the bane of my existence and yours for how long now? Like, seriously.
I just wanted even a part 2. And, you know, the more I ask for things, the more he's like, that's never going to happen ever.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? And then he puts that poll out. And I'm like, no,
So
don't.
I'm
It's
just
gonna
never
be
going to get to
heartbreak.
have a cover of Tiny Dancer. It's fine. I'll just sing it by myself.
Or
No,
That's
what we should do
unacceptable.
is we should like chop his videos up and shove your audio on it and go, look what I made.
She's got something
Right?
here.
Merry Christmas.
or we could do a little cover of it a cappella between us four right now.
Oh my gosh.
No one needs to hear me singing. No.
I literally know like 4 words of that song. So I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I could just
I
like
know
remember it
all
off the
of it.
top of my head. I have to like go listen to it first.
Just put us on the
I
spot,
can do
bro.
it, but I'm just not.
You do well under pressure.
All I would need is the first word, just because of the graduate.
Blue Jean Baby, but we're not going there.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah, that
It's
is-
all coming back.
Yeah, young Tony Danza from the Friends episode. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic, bro.
Do you have any holiday wishes or anything to say?
My holiday wishes are that everyone just goes off social media for the last 2 weeks of the year and just does whatever the hell they want. Yes. And then I don't have to worry about not doing anything on social media. Perfect.
Then they won't see this episode.
Damn it.
They
Okay,
have
you're right.
so much to come back to, though.
Yeah. They'll have so much to binge watch at the beginning of the year. It'll be great.
Like right at midnight on New Year's, just boom.
Yeah,
open
like
the
that's
phone.
their celebration.
Yeah. It was just great to have you.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. I'm glad you reached out and I had a couple minutes to like stop in. And now I can go try to get a new laptop that I'm still trying to get.
Oh, good luck.
On the day before New Year's Eve. Yeah. I guess.
You know, I tried to get one on Black Friday and that went badly, apparently. So
Just
here I am.
bring some mace. You got this. I believe in you.
I do have pepper spray, actually. You know, I still never used it, thankfully.
Hey, test
Liberally,
it out. Liberally, yes.
I feel like it is one of those things where you should test it so you know how it works before you really need it. But I also don't want to waste it,
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Sorry, officer. I was just making sure I was prepared for the party season.
Yeah, exactly.
there's water ones. That's what I use for my film.
Oh, that's smart.
And that's what helps people practice how to aim and all that stuff.
You could even
Yeah,
like put
see, look at
hot
you
sauce
teaching me
in a
things.
water
I need to
one.
get a water one then, I guess.
I would not be missing. I would make sure that shit was missing everywhere.
Just spray it everywhere. I don't care. I'm aiming all over the place.
She just pulls out one of those ones that's like a can with a handle on it.
Yeah, like you need one that says constant spray and not just like a one-timer.
The biggest thing with
Let's find out. No.
the constant spray though, you spray yourself. You have to actually
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're right. Unless my arm is like so long that it's that far away from me, I doubt it. The wind exists.
I only know all this because I had to do all this research because I had someone pepper sprayed in my film. So.
No, God.
You just like do one of these, I guess.
Yeah, like that. And close your eyes at the same time.
Yep.
They're like, you got me. What?
Yeah. That's perfect. Stumble your way to where you're supposed to be going, and you're like, oh no, I'm good now.
Yeah, like I hope I know where I was going. You guys have fun.
You too.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I want to thank Ava Breeze for being on the show and all she's doing. She's like a big inspiration for us all. Everything that her strength and her courage just is outstanding, and she's making it places. We all know this, and the fact that she gifted me the chance to talk to her on the show and share her story. I got another special guest for tonight, I guess. He wants to hang out. Oh, Rocky's here for today too. I also want to thank Ethanol, Kenneth. He is such a brilliant singer and artist that everyone should actually go and really see what he is capable of and go look through his past catalog, because what he does as a vocal singer, I mean, and then he's like the cheapest vocal coach you could find, and he's willing to do it through Zoom. And if anyone wants vocal lessons or just wants to learn from him, because he knows everything from scream metal to jazz singing to beat bop, yeah, definitely go check him out. And thank you, Kenneth. So we got our next special guest, Snuggles. Introduce yourself, Snuggles.
I was so confused.
How cool is this guy? Like, he's huge. And I got 2 of them last night from the supermarket, one each for the girls for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
They're like fucking massive.
We got another special guest.
Who do we have?
Welcome. It is Dave
hey.
Wright.
Oh,
I needed to be wearing a Christmas sweater
that's all right.
You're wearing a sweater.
or Christmas jumper, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really warn anybody. It was more like I was just gonna throw on an elf costume.
I almost put on my Christmas onesie, but the colors are too dark. It's like dark green and black. This is much better, I thought.
I don't know if y'all have ever officially met Dave, but I know they've seen your episode. But
Hello. Great to
Hi,
meet you.
Dave.
and I really do want to thank you for being a special guest and giving such a good, vulnerable conversation that I'll remember for a while, and hopefully other people can gain the
thank
wisdom.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I texted you in follow-up, right? It led to great conversations just with my son and his girlfriend. It was fantastic. And that's the coolest impact of all of this. And when you said, you're doing this tonight, I'm like, got to do that. Got to get on there. Because, I mean, I don't know if anyone else knows this, but I only joined Threads in October. And, like, the acceleration, given what you guys have no doubt been through, right? The acceleration for me, just like mind-blowing in terms of the support the community. It's so awesome. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of building up to being my more artistic self, and since October, it's like, no, I'm building up, I'm committed. And yeah, I don't know what's going on Threads, but the community, and that's it. It's community.
That's exactly what it is. It's the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Threads has been amazing for me. So I can only imagine what you guys have accomplished in the background. I mean, I caught your your sort of collab there with, and you told me about the rap you wrote and the poetry of that. And 2 weeks later it's out there. And it's so neat for me to see just how far everybody's got to after knowing each other. I don't know how long you've known each other, but it's so
I've known them since September. I only joined in July, but I took all of August off. So like I'm only a month ahead of you with when I really connected with everybody and actually
that's amazing.
yeah, and I found Demo Nation. That's what really connected me with everybody. Well, Dave, how was it for you being vulnerable? Besides, like I know it helped with you communicating with your son. What about for you personally? Like,
Oh, that was fantastic. Like we were on the call for I don't know how many hours. And it's like
oh yeah,
I had no concept of time.
I I still have our second extra episode that I got to release. Yeah,
No, that was fantastic. We just bounced like all over the place. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed that. Thank you for doing this again, because we're all still looking at Threads going, how do you possibly convey the warmest wishes for Christmas to everyone when I don't have as many relationships yet, but I see what everybody's doing. I pick up on everything everyone's saying, and it's building in me this support and confidence, even though we're still building relationships. And I really appreciate the whole crew. And thanks for doing this again tonight.
yeah.
And
Thanks
now
for
to
being
the
here.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you
Merry
all as
Christmas.
well. Great to meet you in person.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Really want to thank Mainframe. He provided the Christmas music for this episode. A very Mainframe Christmas. If you haven't heard it, you'll hear a little bit. Well, you heard a little bit of it in here, and definitely go check it out. I will link his album below because he was generous to do that. He couldn't be here. He had it's the holidays, family stuff, and he wanted to be here any way he could, so he allowed me to use his music for this. And yeah, thank you, Mainframe, for just everything you're doing, for always being open to collab with the community and building the community, and always giving a positive message out to everybody every day on Threads. It's a blessing to have you on Threads. And
Hey, Chris, can you
how's
hear
it
me?
going? Yeah.
Hey, man, it's going good. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Paula.
What's up?
How are y'all doing? Merry Christmas.
Great. Merry
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah, good to see you. You joined right as Spectre's about to say goodbye, so
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to wait because it was you.
We're good. It's good to see y'all. Hey, Kenny, don't forget, man, we're playing D&D, right? You
Oh,
guys are going to
yes.
play D&D? Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I
need
got
to
a
get
poll
the-
out there. Yeah, get out there and do my poll. If
Okay.
you can. See if anything, if those times don't work for you guys or something, if they're weird, just holler and we'll figure something out. No, I'm looking forward to it. Looking for sure
Same.
playing with you guys. Yeah. Yeah. Been creating a bunch of characters like for you guys to pick from to start. But yeah,
Oh.
if you want to make up your own too, that's cool. So whatever, man. I'm looking forward to it.
me too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead
Awesome.
say your last goodbyes, I guess?
All right. Well, it was nice stopping in and seeing everybody. Hope everyone has an awesome Christmas, happy holidays, whatever. Celebrate anything you
Whatever.
celebrate. I love you guys.
Love you too,
Love you
man. You
too,
take
Kenny.
care. You have a great one,
I
right?
will. I'll see you guys on Threads every
All right.
Saturday. I'm dropping. You know me.
I want to first off
Awesome.
by thanking you for being on my show and being vulnerable with me, and
Hey, you're welcome, Chris. I had a great time being on your show for sure, and I appreciate your show. How many episodes are you up to now? I fell a little behind here in the last week or two, and you've done a bunch, right? How many being vulnerable episodes do you have now?
well, season 1 ended with 16, and then
That's awesome.
this will be like a special holiday episode that is kind of separate
Oh,
from
that's
season 1 and season 2. But yeah,
that's awesome.
had some great guests.
Yeah, I think it really strikes a chord with people. It sure does with me, and it's great to hear all the different people that you get to come and talk, and you're so good like talking to people and kind of drawing them out a little bit. It's great. I'm really excited that you're doing it. And
how was being vulnerable for you? Like
it was great for me. Yeah, I loved it. I loved our chat. And I think like a lot of people, like I think I was surprised like how long we chatted. Like looking back, you're like, man, the time just kind of flows by when you're talking about different stuff. And yeah, you're an easy guy to talk to, Chris. So yeah, I had a great time talking and yeah, just talking with somebody about being an artist or kind of growing up and all the things you're kind of that were rough when you were young and trying to kind of growing up and eventually kind of pulling out of some of that and just enjoying being an artist and like finding other people who love art and just making it. And that was a big deal for me. I think with being vulnerable kind of capped my year in some ways. I came to Threads thinking I was going to find an audience or listeners for my music, and I found kind of that, but what I found was even better. I found like other artists and like colleagues to work with, like people who are interested and passionate about the same stuff I am and have kind of been passionate about it most of their lives and all the stuff good and bad that kind of comes with that in our culture. So that was really cool. And yeah, being vulnerable was kind of the capstone for me of like a year of just meeting a lot of cool people and kind of learning a lot about myself. And yeah, I think, for me, it's maybe the first time in a long time I've been able to say, hey, I'm an artist and just kind of feel it, like feel like it's like, didn't have to justify it or I didn't have to do all this stuff or not like qualifying it. I'm like, yeah, I just am. And I hang out, online on Threads with a bunch of other people who are artists whose work I like and I'm learning about. And so, yeah, really cool, man. It was a good experience for me.
I'm glad it was, and hopefully it helped connect you to a little more of the community too. And
yeah, absolutely. It's been great too to like get to know other people, who I only know from Threads because I can see them on being vulnerable and feel like I know a little more about them, like you met them in person.
Yeah, and you kind of already touched on your year in Threads because that's because we're going into the second year, or at least a lot of us are going to be going into our second year, and
yeah,
I feel like we ended strong as a community.
I did too. Yeah, I feel like it got like stronger as we went. Like people made more connections, and there are some folks who helped like that. Like you helped a lot with this show, and being online and people being able to connect to the show on YouTube. You have other people who are like Daniel pushing his community over competition thing, and that I think was a real key. So yeah, we had a great community and lots of folks like you who helped build it. So I think over the last year, it's like, oh man, we found all these people who are into all this cool stuff. And now I'm just like, yeah, I'm excited for next year. Like what's going to happen?
Yeah, the way I could describe it too is like, we made a lot of friendships that you don't really make these type of friendships with people online that you have never really, like you only spoken through text and stuff. And,
right.
It's always more, what someone wants something out of you. It's
like transactional almost. It's like I say, like I like your thing, you like my thing. Like I say something nice, you say something. I kind of feel that too about a lot of other social media. But yeah, it does feel like different here. I feel like I know people better here than I ever did from any other like social media platform, and folks are willing to engage, and you got ways like this where you can kind of get to know people a little better.
And definitely a lot of less judgment. I mean, this is the first time I've been comfortable wearing this elf costume because
I love that elf costume, by the way. It's badass. And Paula's got the hat and the Grinch shirt. I'm the only one who didn't show up in my Christmas gear. Look at that.
I'm dressed ready to go to work because it's Christmas Eve for me.
Oh,
So I'm,
see, you're
yeah,
you're you're on a different time schedule. I get it.
yeah. And
That's
according to
good.
Mainframe, I'm a time traveler from the future. But
Oh,
yes.
he would know.
I know what I always want to be like, what happens tomorrow for us here? Like,
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
What
no,
happens
it's really not
tomorrow in
that
your
different
world?
till, yeah.
Kind of
It's
the
not that
same.
different. It's the same stuff, you know.
All right.
Nothing
Well, that's all
exciting.
right. Yeah.
do you want to give any holiday wishes or, greetings any to the world, the
Yeah, for sure.
threads?
I mean, whatever you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is, if it's hopefully it's a festive time of the year for everybody. It is for me, and yeah, I just want to say that I'm grateful for the year that I've had on Threads and for all the folks that I've met through your show, through sort of all the outlets that opened up because of those connections that I made on Threads. So yeah, I'm really excited, man, for next year. So I just say, everybody have a great holiday, take a little break, charge your batteries up, come back a little rested next year, man, and we'll do more. I'm excited to see what everybody's going to make in the new year. I'm excited to see what I make in the new year. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to, what we'll be talking about this time next year when we meet again. I think there's going to be a lot of exciting things. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here and grateful for this community. And
Yeah.
Paula, it's a delight to meet you after, I don't know how many times I've been in the chat, maybe with Paula on a
A
lot of
while,
YouTube things.
yeah.
I think we've
Yeah.
chatted there, so it's nice to put a face with the name and get to
Yeah,
chat
but
with
this
you a little
phase
bit.
doesn't do this very often, so
Mine doesn't either. Yeah, usually I had a lot more hair the last time I did it, so yeah. But that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate you.
you're welcome, man.
And
All
you
right.
you have a good Merry Christmas too, and
Thank you.
happy
You all
holidays.
too have a Merry Christmas, and Paula's is coming up faster than ours, so we got another day to prepare. But you take care, all right? It's good talking to both of you, and I hope to talk to you in the new year.
Wanted and Fina to be here. They have inspired me to make the show, to actually have confidence in myself. Their support, which is me sending my music into Demo Nation, um, allowed me to put myself out there and be more vulnerable. And like I don't think the show would exist if it wasn't for them, especially when they brought me on to be interviewed. Um, that was the first like time I was actually being vulnerable with like people that that I hadn't met before, and just the reception of people with that story, just it gave me the confidence and inspiration as well. Because I always wanted to do something like this, but I didn't have the courage to. But they inspired me. Like I can do this. And I just wanted to say thank you, Vina. Thank you, Sly and Heretic. It's y'all have changed my life for sure. So Fireside Shadow couldn't be here today. She had lost her voice, but she did send a message for us to say to everybody. Reba says, "Happy holidays to everybody. Stay safe and keep yourselves well if the holidays aren't a great time for you. I'm grateful for everyone I've come in contact with and everyone watching the show." And that was Fireside Shadow. I am so grateful for you to be on the show. You were my you were the first girl on my show, and the first one I could open up to about certain things that I wasn't able to really open up with, and it really did help. Actually, even gave me more courage to open up about these things to future guests that I had on the show. I really thank you for being part of the show, and I look forward to having you back on again sometime in season 2. Hello.
Hi. Hi, Chris. Merry
Hi.
Christmas Eve.
Merry
Hey,
Christmas.
Brenna.
Hi there.
Have
How
y'all
are
ever
y'all
met?
doing?
Yes.
Hi.
We haven't met like this.
Not
We've done
officially.
the on the
Yeah.
threads thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing all right. It's been an interesting episode. Had a bunch of people kind of just, stop in and little
Yeah.
thing.
That's such a cool idea. Yeah.
First, I want to thank you so much for being here, but also just being on my show, Getting Vulnerable. It helps me a lot just knowing that I have people that are supporting me like that, and
Yeah.
yeah, and just even our conversation was so
Yeah.
helpful as well. And first, just wanted to say how much I appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you're doing, like creating more meaningful connections among artists.
How was it for you being vulnerable on the show? Like,
Um, it made me nervous, but you helped put me more at ease.
is there any longing or like lasting impact? Any like more openness to be more vulnerable with others?
I feel like, yeah, it opened me up to be more vulnerable with others and start telling my story, not being afraid of it.
Well, you have a great story to tell.
Thank you.
Hopefully you have a little more courage to tell it more.
Yeah.
I know we're all interested here. In your story.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear everybody else's too. I love just learning more about people and the wisdom they carry and what helped them learn it, and it's really meaningful.
I know that's been probably the best part of the show is
Yeah.
learning people's stories and just being able to connect with them on a level of like I experienced this too, and or like maybe I didn't experience this, but I experienced that, and we kind of
Yeah.
can relate in a more deeper level than just like
Yeah.
an interview would be or like a
Uh-huh.
text chain.
Yeah. I love that. Everybody's so fascinating and has so many layers, and you never know until you take the time to ask questions and go below the surface.
Also, just opening up makes other people open up a little better too. So
That's
like
true.
that
It's like more natural.
yeah, the back and forth is really something that
Uh-huh.
helps. Do you have any holiday wishes for everybody? Anything you want to share with the Threads community?
Um, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and say I'm thankful for each one of y'all, and y'all inspire me every day. Y'all help keep me going and give me hope, and I'm so grateful for each of y'all, and I look forward to connecting more in the new year and just learning from each other and inspiring each other towards our dreams and sharing wisdom with one another, learning and growing. This community is really special, and I'm grateful I found y'all. Um, thank you for having me as part of the community.
I mean,
Blessings.
Our community wouldn't be the same without you in it. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm grateful for everybody here.
and we're grateful for you too.
Absolutely.
I look forward to hearing this whole episode and hearing more of your story. It's good meeting you.
You too. You too. Absolutely.
What do you like to be called?
You can call me Paula or Scarlet or
Paula or
whatever.
Scarlet?
Answer to
Okay.
anything. It's okay.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I look
You
forward
too.
to watching the replay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. Merry Christmas.
yeah, Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah. Awkward turtles.
Awkward turtles.
Yeah.
I really want to thank Chris Hammond from Galaxy Parade. He was supposed to be here today, but it doesn't look like he's going to be showing up. But he was my first interview. He was the one who started this all. Um, and everyone being, including me, being such a fan of him, like having him as my first episode really did kind of solidify everyone else's um, willingness to be on the show. It's like, oh, you had Chris from Galaxy Parade? Of course I'll be on the show. And then just our conversation is what sculpted what this show became. Because in my eyes, I wanted to be more of a talk show, but just the vulnerability me and Chris were able to share, and he is definitely going to be an on season 2. I want to have a connection with him, re-dialogue, and it should be great because now that we have known each other and feel more comfortable, because we both still were a little closed off in that episode, but our next episode should be amazing. So thank you, Chris, and I'm so looking forward to see what you come out with. And I, Where Do I Belong? I still listen to that every day. Like one of my favorite songs. So thank you, Chris.
All right.
You
Now we're
here?
cooking. I'm
That's
here.
better.
Well,
Well,
hello. Happy holidays, everyone.
happy
Hey.
holidays. Got another special guest for everybody. Cheshire Sax,
Hello.
aka Will.
That's me. How's everyone doing tonight or today?
Today, this afternoon. Yeah.
It's this afternoon.
Tuesday afternoon.
No,
Christmas Eve, even.
You're from the future.
Yes, apparently.
we were just talking about that too.
Too late to the joke. Okay, gotcha.
No, it's a big mainframe thing. Like every day with him and me, like, yeah, time traveler. You're from the future. So, yeah. Yeah.
How'd your show go,
Great.
man?
It was good. It was fun. Nice, just nice little office party thing. But nice and smooth and quick in and out. By the way, I'm loving the elf fit. You're
Right on.
rocking that.
Yeah.
Music Santa's little helper.
Well, with the headphones.
Yeah. You guide the sleigh.
First off, man. Also good seeing you again.
Yeah, good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Paula.
Yeah, you too. Like face to face. This whole thing's like changing everything. It's like, oh, wow.
I know, right?
Yeah, wanted to say, man, really appreciate you coming on the show and being vulnerable with me.
Absolutely, man. Loved it.
It was a blessing to have you on, get to know you, and yeah, it was a great conversation we had too.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was super fun.
Yeah.
You gotta show me those outtakes at some point.
How was it being vulnerable with me for you? Like the whole experience?
Oh, so one of the best parts for me was just getting to know you, you know. But we have a lot of similar tastes, and so I felt there was some really good chemistry in that conversation, you know, especially with both of our film backgrounds and talking about your new release that just came out. And my favorite part of the conversation was the disconnect though, where you were talking to me as if I had seen the video when I'd only listened to the audio the entire time, but somehow it's still lined up, which I still say is a credit to your writing, because like you can almost see the video in your head without having to have ever watched it just by listening to that. I mentioned in that episode, like it's not that it's hard for me to be vulnerable. I'm just at this point, even being like a new dad, I'm just so slap happy and I don't want to say apathetic, but things just kind of roll off the shoulders more than they ever did before. That being vulnerable that's my day to day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really easy to open up and just like be an open book at this point, man. It's nice to see other artists and creatives be able to do that too, and kind of like really strengthen our community now that we're seeing each other face to face and putting voices and faces to what used to be static pictures and just text. So it's a really nice kind of next step, really, for the life of this community. You know, it's the evolution, and I think your show's a big part of that. So very, very honored to be a part of that, and I think you should be very proud of what you're doing.
Right on. I appreciate all those kind words. Yeah. I mean, the fact that I could do that for others is it's humbling. I said I was gonna cry on the Christmas episode, but yeah. Getting
Oh,
closer and closer.
I'll just keep slathering on all the compliments until we get you there.
And everyone could see how bad I take compliments.
I don't know. I call it taking it well, you know. I know a lot of people who just shrug off the compliments, don't acknowledge them. You know, that's taking them bad. But if you're really getting emotional on it, that's taking it well. That means like, you know, they hit home. And really, I'm just like reciting facts anyway, so they're not as much compliments as they are observations.
Right on. That's did it again.
2 for 2.
How, how was your year in Threads? How like as a celebration of this year that
I mean, it's been informative, and a lot of horizons have been broadened. As far as like my own personal growth, it's I don't know, not as much, I guess. I mean, as artists and all that, because you know, we all have those moments where we're a little too attached to the statistics of Threads, the numbers behind Threads, or Spotify or Instagram, really anything along those lines. And you know, every now and then you got to pull yourself back and just be like, you know, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Because the whole industry has changed where it seems like a lot of us are really embroiled in that struggle of the artist versus the marketer, you know, and remembering that it's about the music and the art and the community first and not about the selling yourself, you know, and that's something that I really learned as a lesson this year, really drove home, you know, like when the numbers plateau and you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? You know, that, you know, I need to do this or make more advertisements or put out more clips. And it's not about that. It's about the experience of making the art yourself. And if the art's created and out there, then it's a success story, whether or not a million people see it or only 2 people see it, in my mind, you know.
yeah.
Because if it makes any connection at all, it was worth it. Even sometimes if that only connection was with you when you created it, you know, because that's what it's all about. It's taking that internal monologue and it's getting it out there, whether it's screaming to the void or to 1,000 people at a show or what have you. So that was, I think, the biggest lesson that I learned this year, and very thankful for it. You know, I don't know if I would have learned it if I had just stayed on Instagram, you know,
Yeah.
or looking every week at the Spotify statistics for Intoxicated Zen, which we are getting ready to announce. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys this since, you know, you've seen us post on Threads and I talk about them a lot. Our last show ever is January 10th.
Right then.
Our guitarist just joined the Navy, so we're seeking new horizons. But most of the band is joining my new group, the Galactic Cats, which you guys might have seen around. We're getting ready to head to the
I'm
studio.
there. I'm following. I hit the buttons.
Yeah, honorary Galactic Cat for sure. We'll get you a badge. But so you know, it's a new horizons thing, and Threads is just kind of one of those new horizons. Blue Sky as well. I mean, I know that's kind of like a burgeoning thing, but we're starting from scratch as a band, which is scary and refreshing all at the same time.
Did
You know, we can really build everything up from scratch using all the lessons, the ups, the downs, the failures, the successes that we've experienced, and you know, putting that to work. Just like I told you how I see the life as Legos. It's like now I have all of these new pieces and I get to try and fit them together and see just what I can build out of it, you know, and that's really exciting for me. So, and it wouldn't have happened without Threads.
have y'all thought about live streaming your last concert for all the people who never got to go see all your fans on across
You
the
know,
world.
I hadn't until just now. That is a fantastic idea, and I'm going to make sure that happened. The guitarist who's leaving originally booked the show before he actually told us he was leaving, and this is actually all kind of recent news for everybody. Um, and ever since then, I just kind of took over because I'm like, well, man, it's invested 7 years in this band. I gotta give it the send off it deserves. You know, the Viking funeral, light something on fire, drink a bunch, chant around its corpse. But you know, book the other bands. He was in a few bands locally and throughout the years. So I got a lot of members from those little bands to come in. They're going to sit in. We're going to make almost like the Intoxicated Zen Orchestra for a song or two. Thank you so much for that. Yes, we will be live streaming it. We'll give the Threads community a shout out at the show on the live. So be looking
Nice.
out for that.
Well, thank you for taking the time, even after your show, to just come be part of this little.
I just gave the baby a bath bottle and a toothbrush, and she's passed out. So I got really nothing else on my plate right now. And it sounded like the perfect little after dinner snack, you know, get to see you again, meet Paula for the first time, and have a nice little chat.
Yeah.
I get lonely dad syndrome at night often because it's just me and baby while mommy works all night. So it's good to hang out with some like-minded friends. And, you know,
Well,
shoot the shit.
if you ever want to chat, man, always here. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you as well, Paula. And
Yeah, you too. Have a Merry Christmas, hey.
have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I'll be seeing you around.
Absolutely.
Bye.
See you.
I also want to thank Fat for being on the show. He was so great to talk to, and like he's such a talented rapper. Like I was honored that he allowed me to interview him and be on the show. It was a blessing.
Yo,
There he is. What's up, man?
what's up? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for being vulnerable, man. Like just that whole conversation, just letting me to express some stuff that I haven't been able to speak to anybody. It was a blessing to have you on, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you having me. It was definitely a great conversation. Definitely topics that we don't get to cover very much in the interviews and stuff like that. So I think it was a good chance to get some of the deep cut views.
How was it for you? Just did it help you at all find
So for me, like I said, it was just a good chance to touch bases on a topic that doesn't really get spoken about a lot. Like a lot of interviews are kind of middle of the road, you know what I mean? It's just like, how'd you get started and how long you been doing it and who are some of your top 5 rappers or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's nice to actually get on a subject that got some meat to it, you know what I mean? Got some substance to it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've officially met Paula. You've probably seen her as Scarlet Devil Lyra.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely. I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. All the holidays. If I missed something, I apologize, but definitely happy holidays to everybody watching, everybody that'll watch later, even if it's after the holidays. And thank you, man. Thank you for your platform. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for giving other artists the opportunity to speak on, and be vulnerable and speak on their situations and topics and everything. Congratulations to Paula. I know she just got her own place and everything going on, and so big moves.
Huge.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Happy New Year's to everybody. Everybody. We made it, be glad. I know it's probably a rough one for everybody, but we made it to the finish line. So, yeah.
Right on for hopping on, man. I want to give a special thanks to my season finale guest, Dr. Universal. He, our conversation was just so enlightening. His wisdom, I could just sit there and learn from him constantly. If you haven't seen that episode, definitely go check that episode out because he has advice for all musicians, all creatives, just as human beings. And he wanted to be here today too, but he stuff came up last minute, and he's a busy man. I don't blame him. It would have been lucky to have him just pop in, but thank you. All right. Second special guest of the day. Oh, Ben came to say hi. I want to be a little vulnerable.
Hello.
That's Ben.
Too cute.
Her and Rocky made it into an episode, so they came to be in, make their little special appearance.
Well, why not?
I want to thank John Malmborg for being on the show. His insight, his wisdom, his our conversation was very very enlightening, and I just thank you, John, for being on the show. It means a lot to me, and I very appreciate you. Paula, thank you so much for supporting the show, being there for every episode that even that you weren't there to be there, you would still be listening and you'd still go watch it, and making the artwork. That was it's the staple of the show, and it's the reason why I don't do these thumbnails that all the other YouTube videos do and stuff, is like that the staple of your art as the everyone's seeing that, knowing that is this show, and it's showing you how much that you are a part of the show through that.
No.
Even
Honored, absolutely honored.
How was it for you watching Being Vulnerable?
Every episode brought something different, but in every episode, I've been able to connect with something. There's been something there, and getting to know people more than just on Threads and chatting to them that way, you get to know them on a different level, I suppose. And sometimes when you're like reading text and things like that, and then you actually get to hear a person, then you can sort of go, well, this is, how they'd say that. And it's very different. But it's been fantastic. I think you've done a wonderful job with this whole thing, and next season's going to be fantastic. Threads has just changed my life. And I know a lot of people say that, but I really don't know where I would be without Threads. The connections I've made, some of the true friendships that are just going to be lifelong for sure. Absolutely. And people accepting me and my art, gotta go. And my word vomit onto paper or in text form. People would they just accept me, and that's great, and I love it. And I hope that everyone in the Threads community that I'm friends with all have the most fantastic festive season, and they all stay safe. And of course, as always, my DMs are open if you need someone to talk to. And thank you for having me on the show. Like, how cool.
Oh, you're welcome. For all of the people watching, Paula's going to be on season 2, and we're going to actually go vulnerable. So we'll have some very emotional conversations because me and Paula are already that connected to have these conversations. Yeah, be a good episode for y'all to look forward to. And if Heretic can't do the first episode, it's going to be Paula for the opening episode. So yeah, everybody, this has been quite a half a year of just being vulnerable, and I've shared so much. Y'all probably know so much about me if you've seen every single episode. Maybe a little too much, but for everyone who has watched, it means so much that everyone has supported me through this, and even just never judged me for being vulnerable and listened to what I said. I'm speechless by this community, and it's a testament to the community that we have built. That I can cry when I talk about you guys, and not feel ashamed for doing it. It's life changing, just like you said, Paula. And tune in January for season 2. Got so many big special guests lined up. I'll just name a few: Glory Fell, 4-Star Fall, Paula, Heretic, Jeremy Abrams, Sprawler Foo, Post Masquerade, Jay Reaper, and probably many more. There's a few more I'm gonna reach out to, but those are all the ones who have agreed. It's a good lineup, right?
Absolutely. Stellar lineup.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stories there too, I'm sure.
And a lot of connections that I haven't made yet, but I don't know if other people have really been able to see them talk and see who they really are. So it should be a great season 2. Definitely tune in. And if you're watching this and didn't know, season 1 is on Spotify, so you don't have to actually watch it now. You could just listen to season 1. Yeah. Hope everyone has Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Stay safe out there. Have a good New Year, but definitely stay safe. We want to see you again next year.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being vulnerable. We'll see you next season.
Merry Christmas.
I hope everybody's wildest dreams come true this Christmas. There we go.
And
It just fits so well with the Mickey Mouse thing going on. It's like a Disney
boy.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Paul.